Have you ever been blindsided by someone you trusted with your whole heart? Imagine giving the best of yourself, your time, your energy, your love, believing that the person in front of you is your safe place. You invest in them without hesitation. Building a future in your mind where every plan, every dream has them in it. And then, in an instant, it all shatters. The truth doesn't creep in, it crashes down like a tidal wave you never saw coming. That's exactly what happened to Mark, a friend of mine. He was in a long-term relationship with a woman he believed was his soulmate. They spent nights mapping out vacations, choosing names for the children they hoped to have one day, and talking about the home they would build together. Their lives felt intertwined, their future certain. Then, one ordinary day, he learned she had been seeing someone else for months. The details felt like knives, places she had gone, lies she had told, moments they had shared that now felt hollow. In that moment, Mark's world spun off its axis. His chest was tight, his mind flooded with questions that had no satisfying answers. The first instinct was pure reaction. Confront her, shout, demand the truth, make her feel the same pain that was now coursing through him. That's what most people would do. But here's the thing, sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. No late-night calls, no endless texts, no desperate demands for an explanation. Just silence. It's the opposite of what your emotions scream for, but it's the only thing that keeps you from giving your power away. Mark didn't know it yet, but that decisión, not react, would change the entire course of how he healed. How she saw him, and how he reclaimed himself. When betrayal hits, silence feels like the wrong move. Every part of you is burning to speak, to release the storm building inside your chest. You want to demand answers, to expose every lie, to make them feel the weight of what they've done. But here's the truth: when you react like that, you hand them the keys to your emotions. Let them see that they still have the power to pull you apart. Silence, on the other hand, does the opposite. It sends a message without a single word. I am above this. I do not need your validation. It draws a line that says your peace is not for sale, no matter what they've done. The Roman emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Betrayal is the ultimate outside event. You can't control what happened, but you can control the one thing that matters. Show you respond. That's exactly what Mark did. He didn't send a single angry text. He didn't give her a tear-filled call in the middle of the night. He simply pulled back and went quiet. At first, she didn't know how to handle it. She expected shouting, accusations, drama, something she could push against. Instead, there was nothing. And that nothing became deafening. She began sending him messages, trying to provoke a reaction, searching for any crack in his calm. But the silence held. And that's the power most people underestimate, forces the other person to sit with what they've done.
Oh.
Get to deflect, to twist the narrative, to shift the blame. You're left alone with their guilt, and no distraction to dull it. In that stillness, the balance of power quietly shifts back to you. When someone betrays you, guilt is the first shadow that follows them. But guilt rarely sits still. It's uncomfortable, heavy, and most people will do anything to shake it off. That's where the trap is set. They don't necessarily want your forgiveness. They want relief. They want a reaction from you. Because if you engage, if you shout, argue, or try to make sense of it, if given them a lifeline, an argument becomes an opportunity for them to twist the story. It's to shift the blame, to make it about your reaction instead of their betrayal. Think of it like a courtroom. If you don't show up, the case can't go on. Without your participation, there's no back and forth. No opportunity for them to defend themselves or lessen their guilt. They're left standing there alone with the evidence of their actions, and it's unbearable. That's why they'll push you to respond, poke at you with texts, send vague messages, try to lure you into a conversation just to talk. But every time you stay silent, you deny them that release. Mark experienced this firsthand. After the truth came out, his ex sent him messages ranging from apologetic to angry to nostalgic, sting every emotional button she could, but he didn't take the bait. He left her with the only company she truly deserved in that moment: her conscience. Months later, she admitted that his silence had haunted her more than anything else could have. She replayed moments in her head, imagined what he might be thinking, and filled in the blanks with her own worst fears. That's the hidden weapon in silence. Turns their own mind into the punishment. Your absence becomes louder than your presence, and your refusal to participate in their drama forces them to face the truth without escape. Asterisk revenge is a seductive thought after betrayal. The idea of making them feel what you felt seems like justice, but in reality, it often leaves you tangled in the very pain you're trying to escape. The cleanest form of revenge isn't shouting, exposing, or plotting, it's thriving without them. It's showing, not telling, that their actions no longer have the power to shape your life. Silence becomes your unspoken declaration. You no longer matter to my peace. Think of athletes after a loss. The ones who storm off in rage, throwing blame in every direction, appear weak and unstable. But the ones who keep their composure, shake hands, and walk away with their head high-hos are the ones people remember with respect. That's what silence does in betrayal. It's the ultimate mic drop, an unshakable presence that says, I don't need to prove anything to you. Mark didn't stop at being silent, built himself up. He hit the gym with new focus, poured his energy into hobbies he had neglected, and strengthened his circle with people who supported and inspired him. He didn't just disappear from her life, he became better in the process. Months later, when his ex saw his transformation, Heartbreak, sharper, more confident, she reached out, apologizing and trying to re-establish a connection.
Albert.
By then, her words were empty to him. He had moved on to a place where her opinion no longer held weight. That's the power of silent revengites, not about making them hurt. It's about making yourself so untouchable that their presence, absence, or approval has no effect on you. You rise so far above the damage they caused that they can no longer reach you. And that distance becomes the loudest statement you could ever make. Asterisk. Silence after betrayal doesn't mean you bury your emotions and pretend you're fine. It means you choose to process them on your own terms, without giving the person who hurt you any more control over your heart. Healing starts with turning inward, asking yourself hard questions, and being brutally honest about the role you play at night in causing the betrayal. But in overlooking warning signs, ignoring your own needs, or settling for less than you deserved. Pain, when faced head-on, can be a great teacher, Sun Tzu wrote, in The Art of War. Victorious warriors win first, and then go to war. In relationships, that means doing the work to strengthen yourself before stepping into another one. That's exactly what Mark did. He didn't rush into dating to prove something or fill the emptiness. Instead, he took months to rebuild from the inside out. He journaled every thought that crossed his mind, no matter how ugly or raw. He sought therapy to gain perspective, and he read books like Attached by Amir Levine to better understand how relationship dynamics work. He invested in his health, his career, and his friendships. Over time, the pain lost its grip, replaced by clarity and a renewed sense of self-worth. When Mark eventually started dating again, he wasn't driven by loneliness or the need for validation. Was grounded, confident, and selective. The betrayal had taken something from him, but it had also given him something far more valuable: wisdom. That's the real goal. Not just to survive heartbreak, but to emerge stronger, sharper, and more certain of who you are. The person who hurt you doesn't get to write the ending. Your silence, your growth, and your ability to move forward with dignity ensures that the final chapter belongs entirely to you.